Now I'm honored to have one of our special guests from the Women's Veterans Summit here today. Kayla, there's so many things I heard from your speech that really stood out. What are some of the most important messages you'd like to make sure veterans hear, the women veterans especially, hear when you speak?
I really want women veterans to feel recognized. So many of us, when we leave the military, come home to communities that just don't understand what women are doing in today's military, don't necessarily think that a veteran looks like me. I think veterans all look like you. And so women may not realize that they're eligible for VA care and benefits and services. And so I want to encourage them to look into what they are eligible for and take advantage of the resources that exist to help ensure that they have economic stability and the best health care anywhere, and so many other resources that can help them as they transition and reintegrate.
I know one of the things you talked about was when you go to the VA, there are certain things that still aren't correct that need to be worked on, where you're not necessarily recognized as a veteran when you walk in the door. They don't look up from their computer when they're asking for your name, and they say Mr. instead of Miss, things like that. How important is to remember to tell these women veterans, it's okay, let's keep working on solving this and getting the recognition?
Absolutely. We are working every day to ensure that all veterans get excellent customer service, but every now and then mistakes happen. People are human, and so I want to encourage folks, if you've had a bad experience in the past, come back and give us another shot, because we are making tremendous improvements. And if you don't get treated the way you should, go ahead and speak up and mention it. The flip side to that is that if you are a veteran and you've gotten great care or benefits services the way that I have, tell your friends and correct some of those misconceptions and make sure that they know that they can come in and that it's not your grandfather's VA anymore.
How big of an issue do you see with women when it comes to suicide and how does that connect with homelessness and mental health as well?
That's a lot all tangled up.
Sorry.
So when it comes to suicide, we know from the data that the rate of suicide for women veterans has been growing faster than for male veterans, and that for veterans in general, the rate is growing faster than it is for civilians. It is unfortunately growing in all segments of U.S. population. One thing that I think is incredibly important for folks to know, though, is that for women veterans, the growth in suicide rate has been among women who are not using VA. Women veterans who are using VA have actually not seen that growth because we have high-quality, evidence-based care that is culturally competent. So my civilian providers don't think to ask whether I was exposed to sexual trauma in the military. My VA provider knows to ask. My civilian provider never knew to ask whether or not I had a gun in the home because they don't think of women as using firearms as much. My VA provider understands that women veterans are very comfortable handling firearms, and they're willing to hand out free gun locks so that you can store your firearms safely. So really important that women vets know that we can get them excellent care and come in and get the services that they need. Homelessness, another issue you mentioned, is another area of concern. While at the national level, VA, in partnership with wonderful community partners and innovations like Housing First, have been able to cut the homeless rate, the number of homeless veterans roughly in half over about 6 years. But the number of homeless women veterans has continued to climb slightly and is projected to continue climbing for another few years. So again, want to make sure that women vets know that we are rolling out so many more services that are tailored and targeted for them, including HUD-VASH and supportive services for veteran families, that we do have additional resources available for those who are fleeing domestic violence, and to call our homeless veteran hotline, reach out to your local medical center, ask to be put in touch with the coordinator so that we can get the wraparound services that they need.